All right, guys. Today we are going to be reacting to Andrew tells the truth to single mom raising children. Champagne.
On you disagree on the view Brian and most others have on single moms. So I guess what is the position that you think I or others have on this?
Well, it might not necessarily be your point of view. Sorry, thank you. It's just point of views I've heard before on this podcast or other podcasts about how generally children of single mothers turn out to be the bad bunches of the world.
Yep.
That's true.
And I get that, and I don't disagree with like the statistics of it and all. I guess where I disagree is putting solely the blame on the fact that it's a single mother and not necessarily a single parent in general, because some of the turnout situations.
You see how they do it? They like to muddy the waters, huh?
They're not, though. When it's a single father at home, the problems and the outcomes are significantly better than when it's with a single mother at home. That's why it's viewed this way with so much social stigma. So the idea is not to say that women who are single, many times women can become single through no fault of their own. Perhaps they're in an actual abusive relationship. Perhaps their husband dies. Perhaps, there's any number of different situations which can cause it. But if you were looking to advise, if let's say you had an entire pool of men to advise, then you were to look at the numbers and you go, okay, look, the amount of shit that you're going to put up with marrying a single mom versus not marrying a single mom is massive. You're going to be putting up with a lot more shit, a lot more trouble. Now you got exes involved. You got all of this involved, right?
Babies.
It's probably better if you have viable options external to a single mom to take those. Now, there's many situations where marrying a single mother works out fine. Dating single moms works out fine. There was no problem with that. But it's not often, right? Those are much smaller in the percentage of the pool versus the amount of people who end up with catastrophic situations, because now they have to not only deal with you, but they have to deal with children that are not theirs, and then the fathers of those children, the extended families of those fathers of those children who all want to be involved. That's where the viewpoint is. It's like, so if you were going to advise your son, if you had all of that data and there was options in front of him, and so option one is, really like this girl, but she has children from another man, but I also really like this girl and she doesn't, right? It seems pretty clear that you would advise him, hey, maybe you should think, if that option's available to you, about going with that, because there's less potential for damage to you if you're looking for the best for your own kids, right? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wait,
I don't
but
disagree
before
with that at
I
any-
have you answer that, I actually didn't hear you actually raise this from the context of dating. Now, perhaps it's your position. The only thing I heard was just, you've heard people say that when it comes to raising children, the outcomes of the children when raised in a single mother household as compared to single father household. But is it also just because Andrew's now in the realm of dating, right?
Yeah.
Are you also have qualms there when it comes to, hey, it's suboptimal to date single moms as opposed to childless women?
Oh no, definitely not. Like,
Oh, okay.
I definitely
So Andrew, I think her position is simply just the whole single moms raising children, the outcomes for the children as compared to the single fathers, not really a dating.
Yeah,
I don't think she has qualms on the dating front.
They're much worse across the board.
Okay.
So they're much worse in criminality, and here's why. I'll tell you why this is the case. It's because of the external component of stepdad. So stepfathers are far more likely to abuse the kids. Stepdads are far more likely to have a revolving door, right? Or boyfriends, much more likely to have a revolving door. Single dads, that doesn't work that way, right? So
I don't have time for
if a
that.
single dad has another woman who enters in the kid's life, they have a lot more power to do something about any type of problem which may occur, right? They're not going to have the same dependency issues. They're not going to have the same revolving door. And so the chance of abuse goes significantly down. So for instance, if I was single tomorrow and I was dating a woman and I saw some kind of abusive tenants, right? Very easy for me to be like, get the fuck out of here, lunatic. And what is she going to do about it? Nothing. But the other way might not be so easy.
Yeah.
Right? So
You tell,
and
that's
this
a
is
single
why-
mom, you tell the guy, go F yourself, right? F out of here. And the guy said, okay, go and try to kick me out of the house. Okay, good luck with that. That's when it gets very abusive. One time, I remember when me and my wife, we were working in Milwaukee, downtown Milwaukee. And I remember there was a white mom with 2 white kids. And then you have a black guy. He probably was the step parent. Man, I remember he used to scream at those kids like he hated them. And the mom couldn't do anything. And I knew from the beginning, like seeing that dynamic, like there was something wrong with it. But how in the hell would you give, as a judge, would you give the custody to your kids, knowing the situation with the mom? I mean, do you guys see the problem here? We have all these statistics. We have all these problems. Still, we're giving the custody to the mom.
I generally have better outcomes with single fathers is because they can actually do something when it comes to this idea of abuse, and they are far more likely than the biological dad to abuse kids. Like overwhelmingly. Not all of them do it. In fact, probably most of them don't do it. I'm just saying that statistically, they're more likely to. So that's why the outcomes tend to be better with single fathers than single mothers.
And isn't there data that per capita, looking at children raised by single fathers as compared to single mothers, for example, incidents of criminality?
Yeah, I brought that up. But that's why the incidences of criminality come.
Sure.
So me being single is better for my child? Is it like...
Yeah,
No,
probably.
Well, no,
Hold on.
if you
I do
say-
have to move it on, but if you can make your point clear.
The chances are, and this is just raw facts. These are just raw facts.
Yeah.
Okay. The chances of you introducing a new man into your child's
It's gonna
life
be
are likely going to be more detrimental than if you were in a relationship with the child's biological father for the course. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to be true. I'm just talking about risk factors.
Yeah.
The risk factors are higher, that's all.
So yeah, so I'm saying like from my point of, I've been single since I've been single.
Mm-hmm.
So from what you're explaining, that means that like my outcome would be slightly
It's
better
still
because I'm not having that
higher
rotating
Yeah,
door.
the outcome
of-
the outcome may be slightly better because you don't have other men coming in.
but it's still a bad outcome. Still,
However, it's still going to be suboptimal as to if you had probably stayed with the father. And so that's why, like you said, you're a Christian, churches will often recommend, look, there's no abuse, there's no drugs, there's no stuff like that. You guys are just having a hard time reconciling some issues. You should probably still stay together to make sure that the kids have the best shot at life, because after they're out the door, then you can do something different. You know what I mean? But that's often why even non-religious counselors will often advise this.
interesting point. And I think, I mean, the single mom epidemic is insane. It's insane. We're creating a lot of bad products. But however, because single moms are very protected in society, we have to push back more on this regard because we need to optimize our kids.
Okay. You said also the viewpoint that women are more attractive at 20 than 40. So what was your thing there?
I mean, kind of, you asked earlier about if I thought I looked better now than I did at 20.
Oh my God, you're
I
crazy.
understand the whole man point of view about like how they look, how when we're younger we look more fertile and we are more, fertile looking as young women. Personally, I believe that women look slightly better. Even men, we look better
No.
in that middle of age, somewhere between 30
No.
and 40. When
Nah,
we
nah,
have
nah.
matured features, we slightly don't look so babyish in our faces, not as
Nah.
young, and
Pure
I just
projection.
think that we look slightly better.
Pure projection, folks.
Slightly
Well,
older.
I think as women age, definitely their taste age when it comes to
Oh, for
when it comes to
sure.
men.
100%.
Not confident that is the case the other way around.
Oh.
That that men aren't still attracted to younger women, because all the data that I've seen most definitely shows that they are. Whereas women, it seems that their tastes slightly deviate. Though they still, from a beauty standard point, still go, okay, 25-year-old men are still better looking on average than
Older we get,
45-year-old
the
men.
men age like fine wine. Like,
Well, I think the tastes change because of the valuation of different things. They just value different things.
Yeah.
Men at 45 are still looking at women as vessels and carriers of children. That's what the attraction comes from. So youth is associated with that. Of course, that's why you'd be attracted to younger women.
yep.
So, I mean, it's not even really that difficult to understand.
It's not. Yeah. I don't disagree.
Do you
with
have
that
the
at all.
study though?
Actually, we can bring
No,
it up.
I know.
You can
I think it's
actually go to my
societal.
Trolling. She's trolling the lady that
a
left.
good place to source a lot of this data, especially on the abuse in the home. You can go to my wife's Substack, Rachel Wilson, and you can check. I mean, she's gone through and compiled huge amounts of data just to kind of go through these one at a time, because she argues with feminists so much. Probably the best anti-feminist debater in the world. And
Oh, I'd love to meet her.
her book, Cold
Oh, yeah.
Feminism, it compiles some of this, but her Substack has most of the kind of cultural battle statistics that we're kind of going over all the time, but especially in the case like this. And I think what happens is people often, they think that you're attacking them based on their situation. When you're not really attacking them based on their situation, you're just explaining the distinction in risk assessment. You're like, look, if I'm going to advise somebody, if I were to tell a man, right, is it a good idea in 2024 to get together with a single mom if another choice was viable? The answer is definitely no. It is definitely no, you shouldn't. Okay?
I would agree with that.
And what happens is, because they're in the situation where they themselves are a single mom,
Yeah.
they see that as an attack. But it's
So
not
they personalize it.
an attack. It's just showing, look, this is what is true. It's not the case that it may be true in your situation or anybody's situation, but there is like a statistic here that we can look to, that we can make these kind of general determinations off of based on outcomes.
Is there a statistic that you know of about two single parents? getting
Honestly, the
together?
only reason I brought up statistics is because it was just a callback to the feminists who needed the
That's what I said. Well, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you think that's a good idea to date single moms or not? Let me know. I will see you in the next one.